Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be here. Thank you to Red Cloud and David Talbot for inviting me to speak here and tell you a little bit about Global Atomic Corporation. Okay, does this actually advance? Oh, there we go. Disclaimer, everybody knows what that's all about. So this company is a little bit different than most juniors in that we have an operating division in Turkey. We produce a zinc oxide concentrate. Glencore is our big customer. We'll talk about that as we get through the presentation. And actually, the zinc business helped us finance the development of our big Dasa asset during a period when uranium prices were depressed, the market was depressed. There was no way to raise equity, so we combined the two businesses. I started both of them in 2005, and that really gave us the horsepower to come through and bring the Dasa asset up the curve. So we're located in Niger with our uranium projects. We have 4 deposits currently. In 2010, we discovered the Dasa deposit. And we are in the very famous Timor-Soy Basin that is similar to Athabasca. Big potential discoveries can be made here. It's a large sedimentary hosted uranium basin, and so it's well infrastructure. They've been mining there for 50 years. This slide shows some of the infrastructure there, including the roads, the power line, and where the mines are located. So we have 2 major centers, Agadez and Arlit. So the Orano mines are located in Arlit, as well as Goviex with Medahuela. And then go down the road about halfway between Agadez and Arlit, and we have our Dasa and Issacanan projects. And then down southwest of Agadez, we have our Tinigaran project. So we've been exploring there since 2007. I spent about a year and a half, 2 years going through old records and finding areas to permit. We permitted those, signed them up in 2007, and started our field work. So this is really what we've done over the last year or so. We've developed at Dasa a large high-grade deposit. It's over 250 million pounds. The grades are, a lot of them are similar to what you find in Athabasca, so it's the highest grade uranium deposit in Africa, currently under development. We've completed our feasibility study, all of our permitting, surface infrastructure is now all completed. We formed our Niger mining company in August of this year, and we've started the mining. So I just returned from Niger on Sunday night. We were there for our opening blast ceremony. We excavated our box cut and did all of that over the last few months, and we've now started the ramp decline to the ore body. So we've got a full complement of miners there, and we've opened up recruitment across the country. But because Orano shut one of their mines at middle of last year, we had some very key people that we were able to get from Orano, and they've now moved on to our site. So we've also signed 2 agreements with North American utilities for offtake, which will start in 2025. We also have an MOU with Orano Mining that will allow us to start shipping them ore right from the Dasa operation up to Somer. So that's in the final stages of completion now. So as I mentioned, we have our operating team in place, our employees hired. The financing package we're working on right now is to finance the processing plant. So that's underway with 2 North American banks. They're now doing their due diligence, and we should have some finalization on terms before the end of the year. Come on, baby. There you go. Okay, so this is a stylized version of the deposit, a cartoon, so to speak. But what it shows you here is that our feasibility study was done on that red box you see there That's called our Phase 1 or flank zone. The great thing about that is it came close to surface. It allows us to ramp into the top of it. But we've delineated a deposit now that extends about 2 kilometers on strike. And you can see the majority of it down below the flank zone. We also have some lower grade material on surface. And the deposit remains open on strike and at depth. We just completed a 16,000 meter drill program. We'll have some updates. We put out a few press releases about our results, but we'll have a bunch more, and the idea is to put a new mineral resource estimate together and a new updated mine plan next year. We're going to carry on, obviously, with the one we have now, but there's going to be further improvement as we go along. This ore body continues to deliver, and we're getting some very good results. This is the way the ore body looked when we did our feasibility study, and you'll see this is M, measured, indicated, inferred resources. Where we focus the drilling now is in the center yellow area and in the yellow area to the bottom left. And those areas were inferred. Now they've been all brought into M&I. So this is going to be a big change in the overall picture there. And of course, once they're in M&I, you can wrap a mine plan around them and include them either in an expanded Phase 1. So right now, Phase 1 is 12 years. I mentioned 20% of the deposit, but this will pull more of that into that Phase 1, or we could move right into Phase 2 with that mining. This is how the drilling proved up larger zones than anticipated, and those outlines in basically red, pink, blue, and yellow shows how the original inferred got expanded outward as we did more drilling with the last program. So we're now working on the next drill program, and as I mentioned, the deposit remains open, and I think we'll have a fairly big bump in our overall resource there once all these numbers come out. This is the grade tonnage report that we put together for our feasibility study. We used a $35 price to do our feasibility, which completed at the end of 2021, and we used a 2,000 ppm cutoff for that. You can see here, even at 2,500 ppm, you've got 110 million pounds running at about 7,000 ppm. So it's something that's very exceptional in Africa. And of course, with that kind of a robust grade profile, if prices go up or prices go down, we can alter the cutoff grade to suit the market. I think our bottom line is that we can produce at a profit right down to about $25 a pound. But clearly, the fees was done at 35, and you'll see some numbers here on what it's looking like today. If we can get this to move. Oh, sorry. So the feasibility study showed that Phase 1 area, again, 20% of the deposit, 12-year life running at over 0.5%. That shows you the economics after tax with NPV and IRR. And then if you go now to a current pricing, our contract's north of $50 a pound. That bumps that up to $468 million after tax NPV and a 44.6. So it makes a big difference. We think uranium prices will continue to move higher as the world gets into a big crunch for demand on uranium, and typically it's going to follow the cycles it usually does, but I think we're into a whole new type of environment here for nuclear and uranium with a planet that wants to remain with less and less carbon. We've targeted 4.5 million pounds a year of production out of this operation, mining at 1,000 tons per day. So it's a small mine, produces enough uranium to be significant, and of course keeps the capex down because we don't have massive equipment. This is a chronology. I don't have a lot of time left here. We've discovered the deposit, the Dasa, game changer for us at the end of 2010. Macquarie Bank, Investec, and JP Morgan came in 2011, right at the time of Fukushima, to give us $25.5 million as a private company. That really ramped up the operation. So we put 8 drill rigs on it. We really drilled off. We've done over 200,000 meters of drilling, and of course moved the project along. Signed our agreements with Orano in 2017. Market was still lousy. And of course, then we merged with our zinc operation to give us the cash flow we needed to keep moving forward. The idea is to keep ramping until we hit the ore, start the shipping to Orano, start generating cash flow from this asset. We'll have cash flow from the zinc asset as well. And then, of course, eventually we'll have the plant completed by the end of 2024 to start deliveries in 2025. Niger, I think Dan mentioned, a big uranium producer, 5th largest in the world. Europe gets a lot of their supply from there. Very good infrastructure, strong labor force, very well-trained people, so we're taking advantage of that. That's the Mines Ministry building there on the left in downtown Niamey, right on the Niger River. We're doing a lot on ESG. It's a big focus for us before the term was even invented. So we drill typically water wells for local communities. That's what they like to have the best. And this one happens to be solar powered. We provide food during droughts, medical supplies, education. We're going to be training people, apprenticeship programs, market gardens we're doing as well, so that we can develop these things to feed our local workforce. And of course, as much solar power and battery as possible. This shot of our box cut we excavated over the last couple of months. And right at the bottom of that, you can see a little square. That's 6 meters by 5 meters, so it gives you an idea of the scale of that box cut. It's a big, big hole, and that's where we did our opening blast. I'm sorry I don't have any photos today, but we're going to have some on our website shortly. Some of our surface gear, the plant and materials coming in. We run everything through the port of Cotonou in Benin. A little bit on our zinc. It's in Iskenderion, right on the Mediterranean. We built this new plant, $26 million project in 2019, paid out already. So this has been a big cash flow producer for us over many years now. I won't hang on that. I think everybody knows on the uranium market. This is where we stack up compared to our peer group. This came out of S&P Market Intelligence, and Cormark Securities passed this along to us. That includes our zinc operation. We're trading at about $2 a pound in the ground, which, many to the left of us there with much, much higher valuations don't have permitting. They have no chance of getting into production anytime soon. So I think there's a lot of room here for us to continue to move higher. Current market cap, end of October, just over $700 million. And we've kept the share dilution very tight by actually having our own cash flow and developing the asset without a lot of share dilution. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention.